Hello, Ateneans! To ensure a smooth running webinar for both the speaker and the audience, please be reminded of these following house rules. Number 1. For the entire duration of the webinar, kindly turn off or mute your microphones to avoid interrupting the presenter. Number 2. Be on time. Once you have joined the Zoom session, please refrain from leaving and attend the entire duration of the webinar. Number 3. To raise your queries, you may type them in the chat box of the platform you are using. Kindly refrain from posting comments unrelated to the topic. Number 4. The moderator will be acknowledging your questions and directing them to our speakers during the open forum. Number 5. When participating in the open forum, be mindful of your background and your background noise. Number 6. We will be releasing the link of the evaluation form at the end of the webinar. Number 7. Please note that we will only be issuing e-certificates to those who have registered, confirmed attendance, and completely filled out the evaluation form. Number 8. Use your real name and follow the prescribed format for proper documentation, if any. Number 9. Unless you are permitted by the organizer, please do not record any part of the webinar. And number 10, please give us a week to prepare your e-certificate to be sent via email. Thank you and enjoy the webinar.
Hello there, Athenians! Welcome to your chosen alternative class program or ACP webinar or workshop this semester.
Let me refresh your memory on what ACP is all about. The ACP is conducted every semester to provide the college students with formative opportunities outside of their regular classroom routine or daily schedule in support of the university's uniquely Jesuit educational goals. Carefully selected resource speakers from different fields of specialization are invited to share their knowledge, skills, and inspire students to nurture their personal development and partake in social advocacies or causes. For the third online ACP during this pandemic, we continue with the theme Cannonballs, Firing Up Dreams, Courage, Action. This theme is inspired by the conversion of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, founder of the Society of Jesus. Just as Saint Ignatius was hit by a cannonball which altered his life and drew him to a greater calling, this ACP hopes to light up the university's call for students to have dreams, discern on how these dreams contribute to one's personal improvement and the common good, muster courage, and find ways to accomplish these dreams. To do this, ACP offerings are carefully chosen to be relevant to the current times, formative, and mission-driven. The webinars and e-workshops hope to start a conversation on one's life in the pandemic, the changes and transitions, and important events like the national and local elections. The online sessions endeavor to facilitate personal and even community reflection and discernment. Who knows? These virtual activities could fire up meaningful cannonball moments in you, dear students. At the end of the webinars and e-workshops, the ACP hopes for the following objectives. First, acquire knowledge and/or skills that are relevant to one's interest, talent, skill, passion, and advocacy. Second, relate or share the learning and insight gained from the topic or activity in conversation or dialogue and personal reflection. Third, examine the importance of one's interest, talent, skill, passion, and advocacy to the development of the society. And fourth, seek ways or opportunities by which the gained knowledge and skills can be further advanced and used for the benefit of the immediate organization, community, or larger society.
Dream, have courage, take action. And don't forget to learn and have fun while we experience ACP Athenians.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining with us and being part of this webinar. My name is Maria Belfay Alegro Merano, and I will be your host for this webinar. And I hope you are all ready to understand the ways in which the social media works in your chosen webinar, the social influence, understanding algorithms, and creating your own brands on social media. Once again, we are all pleased to have you here with us right now. Welcome. So let me first remind everyone for our house rules before we proceed to the program proper. All participants in the webinar are requested to keep their microphones off in order for them not to distract the speaker or their fellow participants. However, we highly encourage you to open your cameras if your internet permits you. Second, any questions and comments from any of you may have typed in the Zoom chat room. We are also live on the official Adno Asa YouTube channel, and to our viewers from YouTube, hello there. Feel free to participate through the comment section. Your comments and questions that are written and shared in the Zoom chat room on the YouTube comment sections will be read during the open forum. Now, here's an important reminder. To ensure that you receive your e-certificates for participating in this event, please complete the evaluation form. And the link for the form will be given at the end of this webinar and in your Google Classroom. So before we go right into the rest of the program, let us first utilize the Multimeter. I hope everyone is doing okay. It's, I know, 1 to 3 p.m. It's quite challenging, but yeah, let's see. So for our Multimeter, link, please access the www.mentimeter.com on your browser and input the code flash on your screen. So it is 59326155. And again, kumusta ang session lang to, guys? Kaya huwag kayo matakot, hindi naman to quiz, right? So you may answer the questions provided. And don't worry, your answer will remain anonymous. Again, you may access teammentimeter.com, code 59326155. Also, it is flashed na sa screen by our OSA staff. So let's see. Question, in your perspective, what makes social media powerful? God, after the elections, we really know how powerful social media when it comes to know to our opinions, disinformation, and such issues. So guys, ano naman in your take, what makes social media powerful? Any brave souls? Let's see. Ano kaya ang pulso ng atinista, di ba? The people, our algorithms, right? Super. From Shopee to Lazada and even in Facebook, the algorithms are really powerful. Social media can influence our views in life. I truly agree. Targeted ads, gosh, super. Bro, influential connection, yes. It reached a lot of people, yeah. Especially during the pandemic and even up to today, right? Sa families and all of the stuff. God, ang dami. I see the lightning fast spread of anything, the people at what it reaches, communication, connection, people, nice, numerous content, yeah, very numerous. The influence, misinformation, this is so saddening, especially right now. You know who, diba? We have, battling it out for so many years. Data, easy access to news, nice. So I think I'm really do appreciate the answers. Paid throws, God. Hashtag, dati lang, influential and accessibility. So we get more of that in this webinar. Let's see. And thank you so much for answering this question. And I really appreciate your insight. May mga inside chika regarding that answer. So thank you. So the Multimeter, I know it was fun, but I like you to know, guys, a little bit more about it. So again, we are dying to learn about the topic on the webinar today. So to formally begin this event, may I invite all of you to settle down. Let us all bow our heads and immerse ourselves in a comfortable way in the presence of the Lord.
I beg to fall in love with thee, my Lord, with every breath of life I take. I beg to fall in love with thee, my Lord, its every beat I to thee forsake. For even if my thoughts fall short of knowing you, and even if my will runs terrified, your passion flings the darkness of my soul, sheds its light, breathes its life, stills the murmur of the night. I beg to fall in love with thee, my Lord, with every breath of life I take. I beg to fall in love with thee, my Lord, its every beat I to thee forsake. For even if my heart falls short of loving you, and even if my spirit hides away, your love for me surpasses all my fears. All I do, all I am, all that I can ever be. I beg to fall in love with thee, It's every beat I to thee forsake.
Thank you, Sir Joseph Rebuliano and the University Choir. So, and I am sure we are now ready to finally get this webinar going. So, bago yan, let's see some heart reactions muna from you guys. Magpaulan ng hearts. Let me know, let me us feel your excitement in this topic. And please allow me to finally introduce to all of you our esteemed speaker for this webinar. Our resource speaker is a creative professional who continues to hone and share her skills and knowledge in business development and design. She graduated from Ateneo de Manila University, BFA Information Design in 2014. She has since taken on multiple roles in her agency: graphic designer, lead art director, business development executive, and senior account manager. She has since expanded her portfolio as a creative entrepreneur by providing strategic services from concept and strategy to execution for various notable local and international brands, such the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, San Miguel Foods, British Council Manila, Coral Swimwear, and among others. She is a Chevening Awards scholar and studied managing innovation in creative organization, MSc in Loughborough University, London. She is currently with Thames International Business Schools as the program manager of the Innovation and Creative Entrepreneur Program. Everyone, please give a warm welcome and a round of virtual applause for our speaker, Miss Kat Mallillin. Good afternoon, Miss Kat.
Hi, everybody. Hello, good afternoon. Just a quick thumbs up, please, if people can hear me. Yes, okay, perfect. So thank you again for the invitation. I hope you guys are safe and awake during our session. So I'll share my screen first. So again, good afternoon. Today I will be discussing the social influence, understanding algorithms, and creating your own brand on social media. Most of the discussion will be on creating your own brand on social media, and I'll be navigating through algorithms. But if you have any questions later, we can discuss it. Okay, so again, hello and welcome to our workshop for today. But before that, I would like to thank Sir Sonny and the OSA team for the invitation for today. I am Kat. You can call me Miss Kat or Ate Kat in your chat box. I am a creative entrepreneur, as discussed a while ago, and I'm also a lecturer in Thames International. So what I do full-time are basically these services. I provide marketing and strategy. I do art direction, graphic design, photography, and digital marketing. As mentioned a while ago, I handle both local and international brands. These are just some of the brands I have worked on the past years. Most of them are a lot of them are actually small to medium enterprises where I help them with their branding. So what I do, sorry, just basically go through quickly this one. So I do branding for small to medium enterprises. So this is Fly Fish Fly. This is, I think, based in Itum, here also in the Philippines. Most of my clients are on the fashion industry, so I provide end-to-end branding also for them. I do photography for some fashion brands. I also do website and layout design, again from end to end, from strategy to execution. And my favorite project is doing these patterns for one of the swimwear brands that I handle, and eventually it turned into this, which we sold in Artefino here in Manila. My biggest client so far is still the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, where I worked with them during my agency years. So what I do is I basically provide graphic design to art direction, both in their traditional marketing and digital marketing, up to also there's World Cards if you're familiar with this brand. I've also worked with Hope in the Bottle. So it's basically going through the data that they have and making sure it's digestible when you post it on social media. And all of these works are all part of branding, basically. Currently, I am the Innovation Creative Program Manager of Thames International, where we basically teach creatives how to make money out of what they love doing. So we teach creatives a lot of the business acumen that they need to survive in today's time. I just came back from my scholarship in the UK under Loughborough University, London, and I'm back in my full-time agency work and teaching. So again, hello and welcome. I know there are house rules that was mentioned before, but I'll just go quickly through also my own house rules and reminders. So I do appreciate having your mic on mute throughout the session, but feel free to turn on your video throughout the workshop. It's also good to see faces whenever someone is teaching. So if your bandwidth can handle it, I would highly appreciate it. So if you have any questions or clarifications, just type in your question in the chat box for our discussion later. And in case of a prolonged lag or drop in connection on my end, please allot me 2 to 3 minutes for me to reconnect. Okay. And again, have fun learning. So a quick check-in. How are you guys feeling today? It's Monday. It's rainy after elections. And what are your expectations here in our workshop? Feel free to unmute or type in the chat box, please. I received the heart. Thank you. Feel free to unmute. Are you guys hungry, sleepy? Just so I know to gauge the energy of the class for today. Okay, eating lunch, that's fine. What are your expectations? What do you want to learn from creating your own brand? Just do answers, please. Or I'll be volunteering someone to answer. None? Okay. How about just do answers? Let's go with Christine Saison. Feel free to unmute if you are there. On the chat box, I see looking forward since starting now to build small business in the future. Okay, to see how the lessons are applied in social media advertisements and how to create a unique brand. Okay, sige, we'll go with the basic ones for this one. So again, I'll be discussing the social influence. My discussion will be divided into 2 parts. So first one is creating your own brand on social media. But first, we'll be discussing what basically is a brand. Why is it important? What is social media? Although I know you guys grew up having social media, and ways to build an online brand. Okay. Social media algorithms. So what it is, how it works, and basically the potential impact of it. So let's start with the first one. So creating your own brand on social media. Question, have you ever Googled yourself? Yes or no? For curiosity? Or are you trying to Google yourself now? No, yes, a mix. Okay, so I do sometimes, not regularly Google myself, but I've done this before. But now, when I checked again, when I Google myself, this is how it appears. So it's mostly about my work, some interviews I've done, and my social media accounts. So why is this important? So in your era, in the online era, where things both good and bad last forever on the internet, and even if you think you have deleted it, your personal branding can be considered more important than ever. So especially for your generation where you grew up on social media, your sentiments years ago, the tweets, your photos that you've posted before can easily be resurfaced. So it's very important that you know how to manage it and now rethink how you deal with your accounts. So if you Google yourself right now, how would it appear? And just in case, if you're looking, let's say, for an internship or for work in the next few months, what will your employers see? Okay, so it's very crucial for you to take care of your personal online brand. But first, what is a brand? Okay, so some basic descriptions of what it is. It is basically how you promote yourself online. Okay, your personal brand is the image that people see of you. So you choose basically what you want to promote on social media. Could be a combination of your skills, your experience, a side of your personality that you want the world to see. Again, the whole point of this is you have control over what you want for people to see on social media. Uh, on the business side, you can build now a personal brand and a business brand simultaneously. Before, with how other businesses would run their operations, it felt like the personal brand, basically the founder of the business, should have a separate branding of their businesses. Right now, it can work both ways and you don't have to choose between the two. Okay. A quick example of this is Nina of the Colorette. So, are you guys familiar with this brand, especially for the girls? I hope so. Okay, so with Nina, and one of her brands, Colorette. If you look at their values, their political beliefs, it's both aligned. Okay, so what Nina posts on her own social media is also the same values that Colorette also follows. So Nina has a strong personal brand that also works simultaneously with her own business brand. Okay. So why is branding important? Okay. Right now, your personal brand helps you stand out from everybody else on social media. Okay. You can use your personal brand to demonstrate your knowledge and skills about your areas of expertise. Again, if you do like makeup or other things, you can easily show it on social media and can easily feature it for your friends, diba? It can help you expand your reach and build a community. So the power of having a lot of social media platforms is you can cross post, you can talk to a lot of people, build a community that has the same interest as what you guys have. So an example of this is AJ Di Marukot. If you are a fan of the Jordan branding, he made it here in the Philippines. So if you visit his Instagram, it's all about his graphic design work. And his advocacy, his personal branding is all about making OFWs, which he means by online Filipino workers. So you don't have to go abroad to earn a bigger amount of money to do design work. So you just do online work, and you get paid enough, more than enough for your work. So from his personal brand, he was able to build his own community. Right now, it's called Filipino Mads Creative Network. So if some of you are on the marketing, graphic design side here, feel free to join this network also. You'll find a lot of work from the States, work from abroad, basically, that you can do from your home. But why is branding important in business? So first, it's to gain customers' trust. So with branding, with consistent branding, you have to make sure what they see when you go to the stores is what they see online. It helps you connect with a certain target audience. It shows expertise in the industry, and ultimately it boosts sales. So if you have a strong branding, basically both online and offline, eventually people would be able to relate more to it and bring profit to your business. A classic example of this is Jollibee. We all know that the branding of Jollibee is langhap sarap, right? So if you go to their stores, you would eventually smell the crispy-licious Jollibee Chicken Joy. But if you go on their social media, you can see all their food and it all looks good, and it feels like you also can smell the Jollibee smell, diba? So it's consistent branding. When you see this, when you scroll, some people might be encouraged to actually buy from Jollibee or buy from a certain brand that you see online. Okay. So with everybody being online right now, who do you think can build a brand? So the short answer is anyone. Okay, so we have 237 participants here. Each one of you can build your own brand on social media. But what should you aim for? So we don't want to be a troll on social media. Okay, so let's talk about reputation and personal brand. So everyone has a reputation, diba? So the first impressions you make, the relationships you form with your teachers and now with your friends, how you communicate, all of these things impact how others see you. So your personal brand, on the other hand, is much more intentional. It is how you want people to see you. So they're not exactly the same. Reputation is all about credibility. Your personal brand is about visibility. Okay, and the values that again you outwardly represent. Okay, uh, an example of this, a big disconnect, is Bongbong Marcos. Okay, so Marcos has, if we talk about reputation, in terms of reputation, he is known for being a thief, a liar for his achievements, and he has been unemployed for 6 years. The problem is he lies about it, right? So that's the ongoing reputation right now. But what is his personal brand currently? How does he position himself? He is a champion of unity. Okay, so does he have credibility? Maybe none in terms of reputation, right? But does he have a strong visibility? If we talk about personal brand, undoubtedly and unfortunately, yes. Okay. But why shouldn't we aim to be like him? Okay. We are fooling ourselves and the people around us, the community basically that you can build based on lies or fake news. Okay. So you cannot create new and truthful content moving forward. So if you start doing fake news now in terms of content and that's how you want to present your personal brand, you have to continue creating content that supports that and this connects with your reputation. It is possible, unfortunately, to have a bad reputation, good personal branding, but then again, in the bigger scheme of things, we don't want that, and that is not good. Okay, so what should you aim for basically? So for your reputation to work online hand in hand with your personal brand and vice versa. So let's remember that you have the power to define your brand by also aligning your intentions with good actions. Again, I want to emphasize this, what you want to do right now and who you are in front of your friends, as much as possible. That is also the personal brand that you want to build. Ultimately, nakakapagod if you have dual personalities, two fronts that you present to your family and friends offline, and a different personality that you present online. Okay, a good example of merging good reputation with strong personal brand is Angel Luxin. Okay, in my generation, Angel Luxin is still considered the Darna, diba? But and she saves people. She was basically parang she had a good reputation for that, although it's not that's not technically true. But she continued this work, and she donates, she does charity work. So her reputation is being supported by a strong personal brand, both online and offline. Okay. Any questions so far? Please feel free to send in via chat about anything about building a brand. Okay. Before we go to ways on how to create your brand, let's start first with the meaning of social media. I know that you guys already think you know already social media since you grew up with it, but let's quickly go through it. Okay. So social media is seen as part of the internet revolution. So the first generation who experienced social media, the dial-up, primarily look for information during the 1990s. So it's basically just really to search for what's this, what's that. It's a replacement of going through the books online, going through the books on the library and searching it on the internet. But right now, we now use the internet to share the information, opinion, and to collaborate or participate in an online content. Okay, so if you talk about social, it's just really interacting with other people by sharing information with them and receiving it also from them. Okay. When you talk about media, on the other hand, it's basically an instrument of communication. So one of the examples is internet for online, while in more traditional forms of media, you have your TV, radio, and newspapers. Social media basically is your web online-based communication tool that enables people to interact with each other by sharing and consuming information. Okay, so very crucial terms would be it's online-based communication tool, and that you get to share and consume information. Okay, the power of social media right now is the ability to connect and share information with anyone on earth. I'm not sure if you guys are able to talk to other people outside of the Philippines, but maybe your relatives. So before, again, that's not possible. But with social media, you can talk to them and also to talk with many people simultaneously. You have groups, you can talk to them from one platform to another, and everything can be done in a few seconds or in a few minutes. Okay. So with everything going on and with available social media platforms, we need to know which platform to use and utilize. Okay. We have a lot of platforms available right now, but do you have to be in all of them? Do you have to register also in a lot of these platforms? Diba? So I know you might be familiar already with these, but let's just go quickly through it as a refresher. Why it's important to discuss this on the business side. If you want to invest on being on social media, you don't want to invest money in all of them. You have to choose whether you want to be just on Facebook, whether you want to be on Twitter, on just YouTube or Instagram, or all of them. So you have to be wise and you have to know the different features and where to invest your money and time. Okay. Common social media features, which for sure you guys know, you have a personal user account, profile pages. There is a form of community, whether in the form of friends, followers, groups, or hashtag. There is also your own personal news feed. There is a form of personalization, whether you can change your name, change the color of whatever, change your status. Notifications, you can update, save, or post information about yourself. There is a form of engagement in the form of likes, comments, reviews, ratings, or even surveys. Quickly, are you guys all on Facebook? I hope so. Okay, so on Facebook, what makes it different from the other social media accounts is basically the ability to do albums, long form formats, and also groups right now, and its incorporation to the business tools. As compared to the other platforms, Facebook basically tries to get each feature of the available social media platforms and then also incorporate it as part of Facebook. It's very encompassing when you have an account on Facebook. Instagram is really the ultimate social network for real-time photos and short videos. But unfortunately, right now, with a lot of accounts going on, we really can't say everything posted on Instagram is real time, correct? We also, maybe some of you also have two accounts where you maintain a personal brand on one account, and you also have a different account where you post random and more spontaneous content that you want your audience to see. Okay. Twitter, on the other hand, is still available in the Philippines. Unfortunately, if you check other countries, they actually don't use Twitter anymore. But here in the Philippines, it's still considered as one of the strongest platforms, with having like millions of users. So what sets it apart is it's basically a micro blogging. You're only limited to a certain number of character limit to be able to express yourself. Although right now, another feature of Twitter is you can create a lot of basically create a Twitter thread when you can, in a way, parang you just cut what your Facebook post is all about and express all your emotions there compared to before where everything is short bite. Okay. Next is YouTube. Next to Google, this is the largest search engine and is recognized as a separate social network all on its own. So basically, you watch videos here on YouTube, whether it's short form or long format, everything is here as well. LinkedIn, I'm not sure if everybody has already created an account here, but you might want to consider since it is a social network for professionals. So if you guys are graduating or maybe in your third year, you may want to explore having LinkedIn. And put all relevant content that is there. If you again go back to my Google search, um, the first thing that you will see is my LinkedIn account because I update it as much as possible for potential job opportunities or volunteer opportunities. Okay? And I do get both job and volunteer opportunities on LinkedIn. So it's something to think about. It's not yet dead. It may not be relevant to you as of the moment, but it's relevant as you move on with your career. Okay. The next is Pinterest. May gumagamit pa ba ng Pinterest on your generation? Can I see a raise of hands if some people are still using Pinterest? There's only two. Okay. Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, so Pinterest is still in other countries. Pinterest is a very strong platform. So maybe not in the Philippines, but some brands would usually use Pinterest to, especially for Starbucks. If you search them, they make their own mood boards to promote their interiors, to promote certain recipes. So it's very still a good platform to just make sure you continue to post what is relevant to you. It's basically your online mood board. Lee, if you have any questions, you may please send it via the chat box, please. Thank you. Next is Snapchat. So before the Instagram stories, there was Snapchat. May naabutan na ba yung Snapchat from this group? Raise your hands or chat box, please. Are you familiar? Okay. Yes, very good. Okay. I'm not yet old. And so Snapchat, what separates it from YouTube or Instagram stories is it's self-destructing. So after a few seconds, depending on, again, what you set it, it's the content basically self-destructs. Okay. In the Philippines, we have abandoned the use of Snapchat, at least both for personal and business brands. Compared to the other platforms, not a lot of people would use Snapchat, but in other countries, especially the Western, they are still very fond of Snapchat compared to other platforms. Okay. Next is Reddit. Not sure also if a lot of people are using Reddit in this group, but it is basically a forum online where you can ask questions, and then some people would be able to answer depending on a certain topic. Some brands also use Reddit to be able to promote certain promos. For instance, if you are familiar with Globe prepaid promo before, where you can create your own what do you call this? Create your own plan. Their strategy was actually to promote it via Reddit, and eventually it was passed on by word of mouth. And if you check Reddit now, and if you want to see anything about the elections, there are also some admissions or things there that you can see. So more than Facebook or other things, some people use Reddit to share what they want to share. Christine Lee, again, if you have any questions, please just send it first via chat or put down the raise hand if okay there. Okay, and the biggest platform right now is TikTok. So as you guys know, it is a short form video sharing app that allows users to create and share 15-second videos on any topic. Is everybody here on TikTok? Especially when the pandemic started, parang there was also a rise with the use of TikTok. Okay. May mga not anymore. This is very interesting. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. So, what are the common issues with social media? So, you guys are very familiar with spam, but usually it's being used via email. So, it's really some bots are bombarding people with content that are not relevant to them. So, if you have a Twitter account, sometimes there are spam bot follows or interactions that happens there. Okay. There are cyberbullying and cyber stalking on social media. Some the younger generation don't realize how they are very sharing of where they are and all of those things and what they do, and unfortunately it results to cyberbullying and also stalking. There is a big factor of self-image manipulation. So again, if you talk about personal branding, self-image manipulation, I guess for some people cannot be what do you call this? It's a process. Let's just say it's a process for you to learn not to do it, to also have acceptance with how you look, how you dress up, and not to be jealous of other followers or in the community. Okay, there is information overload. There are millions of content that gets published every day, and it is our responsibility whether to research if it's fake news or not. But information is just there. And again, you have fake news and privacy and security issues. There is a quick exercise here, but I'm not gonna do it with you guys now, at least in the form of breakout rooms. I'll just go through it. This is the exercise that I do usually with my students to make sure their personal branding is on point or cohesive in the different social media platforms. Okay, so what I do and what I ask of them is to try to think of a certain topic and to write a social media status on the different social media platforms. So for instance, if we talk about, let's talk about milk tea. As a brand, I can talk about on Facebook, quench your thirst with the newest brown sugar boba, available now via delivery. Okay. So again, short and sweet captions, because at the end of the day, the attention span of everybody is now very short. Okay. On Instagram, it can't go wrong with milk tea this sunny summer day, maybe accompanied by a photo with a very thirst quenching milk tea. Okay. So on Twitter, if you want to create engagement, we can ask your followers best milk tea flavor from cocoa, like for winter melon, or retweet for brown sugar. On YouTube, you can do a mukbang. Okay. On LinkedIn, since it's kind of very professional, you can just say whether you are a team member or a founder of a certain brand. On Pinterest, you can research milk tea recipes at home. You can create your own Pinterest board that revolves around that. And on TikTok, you can create a video on a milk tea recipe hack that you can make at home. Again, it's a quick exercise that I recommend that you guys do on your own time, just to make sure what you post on social media again are cohesive. And if we go back again to the different features, for Twitter, it doesn't have to be all cross posts. What happens right now is what you post on Instagram, you post also on Facebook, you post also on Twitter, you post everywhere basically. But with especially for brands, the best strategy is actually to have different types of content that you post every time there is a posting basically. So if you talk about milk tea on Instagram on a very sunny summer day, you can talk about their flavors on Twitter. So but again, it revolves around one certain topic, but you back on the different features of the social media platforms to promote a certain brand or a certain topic that you want to talk about. Okay. Let's go to ways to build your personal brand. Just some exercises. I hope you get to answer some of it also on your own right now. So step one, why do you want to be on social media? Not a lot of people would ask this question since it's just very common to register, sign up on the social media platforms. But even for brands, this is a practice that we ask from them. Their purpose basically on why they want to be on social media, because again, it's whether they want to promote themselves, they want to create videos, share recipe hacks or anything, and then that's where we can strategize. So it's very important for you, even for your personal brand, to ask yourself, why am I even on Twitter? Right? Why am I even on TikTok or on Facebook or on Instagram? If you want to be a social media manager or a graphic designer, this is also something that you can ask your potential clients. Why are they on social media? Okay. The next step is actually to figure out what drives you. So personally, think about what interests you the most. So is it about fashion, gaming, makeup, current events, movies, or art? You can talk about a lot of things or just focus on one or two. Again, if we're thinking about personal branding, at the end of the day, in a way, you have to be known for a certain thing. So if I'll be visiting the Instagram of Christine or Van, I should be able to know why I am following also this person. If I want to see more, let's say, beach photos or more reviews about movies, then I will go to the account of Charles or Gabriel. So even for you, what do you think drives you to be on social media and what interests you the most? Next is think of your unique value proposition. So what are your current strengths and what can you offer that you think is exclusively yours? So if you are into makeup, let's say there are already a lot of people who talks about it online. So how can you separate your content? Maybe you can talk about local makeup products. Maybe you can talk about just the makeup products that look good for morenas, right? If you want to talk about basketball online, do you want to review local or international games? Do you only want to feature certain teams or talk about everything? Again, so what would basically set you apart from the other content creators or personal brands online? If you want to talk about games, do you want to talk about board games, e-games? Do you want to feature all your streaming and everything? So think of your unique buyer proposition. The fourth step, which is a push to what you guys currently are doing, maybe with your personal branding or your online presence, is identifying your target audience. So right now it seems like your target audience could be your family and friends. But if you do want to, let's say, be an influencer eventually, or really building a certain brand, it's important for you to know what they are currently doing, maybe their age, occupation, their interests, and preferences on how they want to receive your content. So if you evaluate your Instagram right now, I'm assuming most of you guys have Instagram or Facebook. If you evaluate it right now, do people respond um, to mostly text, to mostly Instagram stories, to posts, to albums, to long format type of videos? So those are the things that you can evaluate and see whether your target audience likes it or not. If they like it, then you have to, or you should. I recommend that you continue producing more of that content. If you think there is uh, a like lesser engagement with other certain types of posts, then maybe you can rethink, or maybe you can just change some certain aspects like the caption or how the photo or video has been created. Okay. And ultimately, after knowing all those four steps, you have to make yourself visible by creating engaging and effective content. So it's not just really it's engaging, but it should be effective to your certain target audience. Okay. At the end of the day, content is still king for personal brands. Basically, you can't grow your personal brand if you're not posting any content on social media. So now content expands outside of the written medium. Before, it was just all about maybe blogs, maybe people write in the newspapers, but personal brands and more business brands are investing in digital assets, graphics, and videos to be able to connect with their audience. So same with you, if you plan to create your personal brand, it should be a mix of all of those things. Okay. You can take a screenshot of this. I would recommend. These are just some of the content that you can do if you're already bored with what you're currently doing. If it's just all about posting about yourself, then maybe you can maybe you can have experiments. Maybe you can provide templates or checklists. If you already have a business, you can create testimonials, a competition. You can have interviews featured on your personal or business brand. So there are still a lot of things that you can do for your personal brand and business brand online. Okay. The trick is, which is kind of hard to do, is to find the balance of giving your audience what they want while being true to your personal brand and maintaining your good reputation. But this is achievable. How? You go back to your steps again. You have to rethink why you have to be on social media. What is your expertise? Again, who is your target audience? And then you create your content. Okay. There is a temptation to present ourselves to be an expert of maybe something that we're not yet, um, not maybe not who we are just yet. But being true also to yourself reaps benefits on social media if they see the process of you trying to achieve something. A lot of people are genuinely can connect with your posts and can have organic engagements. So I did this exercise for myself. So again, as practice, I hope you can also do this on your own. So if you ask me why I want to be on social media or why I am currently on social media, it's a lot of things, a mix. So mainly to connect with my friends and family. But also I want to promote my work and share, I think, my experience, which is unique. Okay. figure out what drives you. So what interests me the most is graphic design and the academia, creative entrepreneurship, basically. So most of the accounts that I follow are also regarding those things. Okay. What is my unique value proposition? Personally, I am both an industry practitioner and a lecturer. So basically, I get to teach what I do for work, and that is what I share on social media. So not a lot of creatives are actually also lecturers, or not a lot of creatives know a lot about the business acumen side of what we do in the agency or in any creative organization. So I think that is my value proposition, and that is what I share at social media. Okay. My target audience as of the moment, aside from family and friends who are interested with my life, my target audience are the creatives, usually on my same age. It feels like we're going through the same thing. So if I do get engagements, it's mostly with them or the younger generation asking about how to do this or how to do a couple of things in what I already do. Okay. So next is make yourself visible by creating engaging and effective content. So on social media, if you search me, I go by Kat Malils. My last name is kind of hard to spell, so I got my brother's nickname, which is Malils. I just inserted my name on it. So I usually go by Kat Malils on my social media accounts. And my personal branding is about the life of a creative in business and the academia. So if you go through my posts or what I do on social media, it's mostly about talking about these two things. So those are some examples. So usually academia, work, and business. Since I always talk about design, to be able to have and to engage with also users, I create free wallpapers and post it on my website and on my Instagram account. If I want to talk about my work, it's usually through interviews that I have on um, my my affiliations or other creative organizations that I am part of. So some examples that you actually just two examples of personal brands that I also like. Uh, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Ben and Ben. With their personal branding, they're very true with what it's usually the message of their music, and no members are left behind when they talk about their brand. I also personally like, let's say, Stab Magalona. So her personal branding, aside from being part of a band, she is also a mom. And the way she uses her influence and personal branding on social media is to talk about how to teach her kids. So again, you can use your social media, your personal branding to be true to how you want to be perceived offline, your reputation, and how you want to be perceived online, okay, for your personal branding. For everybody who is on the business side here, you may also yes, I am a pod kid. Okay, going back there. For the business side, if you want to screenshot this is my guide for all my social media clients. In business, this is how you build a brand online. Okay. So in every brand business objective, the one on the leftmost part, there is a certain traditional offline goal. Okay. But on the other hand, since we're talking about social media and personal branding online, it can also be linked to a social media goal and its specific metrics. So if you own a startup already, or if you're planning to start, you can base your business objectives from here and move forward with what you can trace in a sense and see how effective it can be. So for the first business objective, let's say I want to grow the brand. My brand is new. I just started, let's say, a fashion brand. My social media goal is basically to raise awareness, of course. So in terms of metrics, I want more followers. I want bigger reach, bigger impressions with my posts. I won't be counting how many testimonials I'll be getting at first since I'm already just starting. Okay, so you only refer to the first row um, for a certain business objective. Okay. The second business objective is turning customers into advocates. Basically, your customers already know your brand, they're familiar with it. And then next is you want to continue the engagement with them. So that is your social media goal. What you measure for that are your comments, mentions, retweets, shares, and use of hashtags. So it is understood that the first two rows, they already know your brand, and now you want to engage with them. Okay, you can't ask people to engage with you if they don't know your brand. So very cohesive yung and chronological yung business objectives and the metrics that you should also measure. Okay, the third business objective is driving leads and sales. Conversions are basically demonstrates effectiveness of your social engagement. So even if, especially for brands, right? So even if a lot of people would engage with you, if they don't buy your product or don't subscribe to your service, it doesn't make any sense. So there is certain strategies also that you can set for conversions for people to actually buy your product through some metrics, website clicks, sign ups, referrals that you can do. Okay. The fourth and last business objective is usually improving customer retention. So these are the customers that you already have parang they already bought a certain product from you, or they already subscribed. So what can you do to for them to buy again or to subscribe again to a certain service? So some metrics that you can use, or at least for social media goal, you're very focused on your consumers and what they like and what they want out of your brand. So metrics are good testimonials. Social media sentiments are either just whether they are positive or negative things. Okay. A certain thing that I'd like to clarify, if you already have a certain Facebook page. So what's the difference between a reach and impression? So you'll see this maybe in some reports, or if you see news about trolls or fake news, the reach and impressions are very, very high. But what's the difference? Reach is the number of people that a certain post basically reached. So right now, let's say what I'm presenting is a Facebook post. Currently on Zoom, there are 250 participants, including me. So if I count myself, okay, there's now 251. But if I count myself out, that's going to be 250. That's the number of reach, the number of people. Okay. Impressions mean the number of times that certain group saw your post. So let's say we are again 250 participants, that's your reach. But some of you in this group saw my presentation twice, or you are on Zoom and you are also on YouTube right now, then my impressions, the number of times people are seeing my post, will be doubled. So it can be exactly doubled to 600, or you can see it thrice or 4 times. So there's basically just an increase. In promoting your brand, you can also choose whether you want an increase in reach, the number of people that will see it, or impressions, the number of times that people will see it. So this is usually done by, let's say, again, let's go back to telecom companies. If they have a certain new product that they want to promote, let's say for prepaid customers, they want more retention, right, of that certain promo. So they are aiming for more impressions for people to see it again and again, compared to reach the number of people who will see it. Okay. I hope that is clear. If that's not clear, feel free to chat later if you have any questions. Okay. What works on social media, both for personal and business brand, are stories, not sales. So again, if you go back to your personal brand, you don't have to present yourself at a certain level already. They want to connect with you, be with you with your journey. So more stories. Are you having a hard time? That is okay. Because people see certain fronts on social media that it feels like we're all having a good time, we're all having the best time, but in reality, we're not, maybe. So people would appreciate more stories and there are more engagements. Engagement basically are comments, likes, shares through stories compared to just selling a certain experience or a certain product. Okay. Same as that, it's more process, not product. How are you able to reach a certain point? If you are a gamer, if you actually check YouTube, there are a lot of views, like millions of views for people who stream their games. Why? They want to see the process on how you play your games, right? It's not really a story on I won or we won at the end of it. It's more on what did they do to be able to achieve this thing. So it's more process, not product. I'll skip the exercise again for the group, but I want you to do this as your personal exercise. So take a screenshot of this again and try to answer this for yourself. Why you want to be on social media, what drives you, what is your unique value proposition, who is your target audience, and what could be your engaging and effective content. Okay. I hope you guys are still with me. We are on the second part of our workshop. So, quick run through of the social media algorithms. What is it? So, algorithms are basically a way of sorting your posts in a user's feed based on relevancy instead of published time. Okay. So right now, social media platforms prioritize which content a user see in their feed by the likelihood of what they want to see. Okay. So before it switched to algorithms, social media were actually displayed in the reverse chronological order. So if I posted and if you check your profile, if you check your feed now, you'll be able to see it. Okay. So in short, the newest posts from accounts a user followed showed up first. But right now it's very random, right? But there, why does it exist? So there is a ton of content floating around in the social space. Thousands, millions of posts, photos, videos are published every minute. And it would be impossible for us to go through everything. So why does it exist? Algorithms do the legwork of delivering what you want and weeding out content that's deemed irrelevant or low quality. Okay. So for brands, it also exists to push brands to pay a premium for social ads. So some brands would actually spend a couple of thousands, or in the case of I'll say this, yeah. In the case of Marcos, he paid a big amount to be able to rebrand himself online. So that's also how algorithms can change. Okay. How does it work? It varies from one social media platform to another. But let me clarify one thing, algorithm versus your cookies. So your cookies are a small piece of data that websites store in the user's device. So let's say you went to Shopee, you searched certain clothes, let's say, or products. And if you go to Lazada or you go to Facebook, you'll see a targeted ad of that certain product. That is not by algorithm, that is by your cookies. So to be able to combat this, what you can do is actually just delete your cookies every time. Or if you go to certain websites right now, they have a feature where they ask you whether you want the website cookies or not. So if you don't want them to follow you and trace you wherever you go, be sure to disable your cookies. On Facebook, there's also a function for this. So just check your settings. so that basically your searches won't follow you everywhere you go. Okay. Let's go back to algorithms. How does it work? And basically how to outsmart them. What are their current priorities? So I'll only focus on four big social media platforms right now. So first is Facebook. Facebook champions conversations. Okay, what does it mean? They want more organic engagement. So when you post, they want more likes, comments, and share on your post compared to anything else. And the reason why some posts are not seen on the feed is because of backlinks. Backlinks are basically URLs where you ask your user to go out of Facebook. So if there is a certain link for that, they don't prioritize it on their feed. Okay. Instagram, on the other hand, favors consistency of posting. Okay. So it is really on the number of posts and how often you post your social media or your photos, your videos, your reels. Okay. They're also for organic engagement, same as Facebook. So the more likes, comments, and shares that you get, they favor your account more than anybody else. Other organic engagement that Instagram counts compared to Facebook are the content being saved. You know, there is a feature to save a certain content. If it's being shared to direct messages or if it's being reposted on stories. So if you want your certain post to be up there when someone opens their Instagram account, then these are the ways to combat it. Okay. On Twitter, it's all about timing. So the engagement after you tweet something is very important. You also have ranked tweets, or right now there are a lot of threads already, or tweets on in case you missed it. Okay. But trivia is Twitter is the only platform that allows users to choose the option to show the tweets chronologically. So compared to Facebook, Instagram, and the next platform is TikTok. It's only Twitter where you go to the settings and you can turn off the best tweets and you can see your tweets on reverse chronological order. Okay. Twitter is also on hashtags. So if you are banking on or promoting the same message as to all the top trending hashtags on Twitter, then there is like most likely that your algorithm will go up. And the last but not the least is your TikTok. So TikTok works under your interests. So it depends on the user activity and the subject matter. So whether you like more cooking, then it will show you more cooking. If you like more dance videos, it will show you more dance videos. But what separates it from the other platforms is the audio. So you know that you can dance, of course, too, or just create any content under TikTok with a certain audio. So if there is already a trending audio currently, then you can bank on it to create your content, and TikTok will automatically push your content up to your followers. Okay. But let's be careful of vanity metrics. So these are data such as social media followers, page views, subscribers, and other analytics that are maybe satisfying on paper but don't move your personal or business goals. So let's say if you visit a certain Instagram account, that person may have millions of followers, but if you check the engagement, maybe only a few thousand likes or 100 comments. So it can be considered as vanity metrics, although it can get you some sponsorships. But when they check their engagement rate, there is a computation for that. Then they will know that maybe your followers are fake or you're producing content that is not relevant to them. Okay. So an impact of algorithm basically is it's just a tactic to ensure that the users are only viewing content that truly interests them. So during the election season, I think there is a phrase that resurfaced, which is the echo chamber. So what you like most on social media, then that's what you also see, right? So that's only the impact of algorithm. It's just really showing you what you're very most interested about. So a danger to that basically is not knowing what is happening outside of the views that you want, perspectives that you follow, values that you believe in, because you only follow that. So in the news of the elections, there are a lot of unfriending, unblocking that is happening. So if you do that, then maybe there is a chance that you continue to stay in an echo chamber. But if eventually there is hope in spreading good vibes and helping them overcome the battle of fake news, then uh, do not do the unfriending and unblocking. So your algorithm will just basically show you what you like most. It can be dangerous, but knowing this fact already, I hope you guys can also move out of your own algorithm. Try to combat it by liking or commenting on other things that you think are very different from your views, and maybe more certain posts will be viewed after there. I already explained the algorithm versus cookies. Okay, so that's all. I think I was able to discuss all of these things, what a brand is, its importance, a run through again of social media, ways to build an online brand for your personal brand or business, and a quick run through of the current social media algorithms. The current social media algorithms will change, may change, so it is also a responsibility to check what is going to be the current setup, maybe in the next few years or in the next few months. Okay? So right now they are banking on the things that I've said, but after a few months or after a few years, they may change the game again. Okay. So that's all. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Miss Kat, for the insightful talk. I really appreciate your emphasis when it comes to the omni-channel, when it comes to the online and offline, being the strong branding against the competitors, and I also sense that the reputation when it comes to the personal advocacy really align, especially now in today's context that our consumers are quite awake or like woke in a sense na they are not just promoting, or they are not just supporting businesses. They are also supporting their personal advocacies. And ito yung nakaka-proud sa generations ngayon. Hindi na basta-basta tumitingin sa ganda ng isang product, but rather on how it stands. And I truly appreciate what Ma'am Kat said, and also siguro sa mga participants natin in making their insights or questions later, is that the content is really the king. It doesn't mean that you have a good layout or edits. It's powerful enough. When it comes to content, you know that your readers or even your target audience can sense your, as you said, your value proposition or your uniqueness when it comes to the style. So for our participants, as what Ma'am Kat said, always remember the interest when it comes to what you wanted to know, or what you wanted to showcase when it comes to your talents and skills, identifying your target audience, but mostly be vigilant when it comes to really the algorithms, because you know who, in our country today, medyo delikado ang mga ganong parts, right, Miss Kat? And to bounce off muna sa ating open forum, our awesome staff prepare something for us. Meron tayong quick, small icebreaker just to sense check everyone if okay pa ba, and if buhay pa ba at 2:29 p.m. Alam kong nakakaantok, pero let's see. Mabuhay ang mga Athenians when it comes to this part. Okay, we have the game 4 picks, 1 word. Okay pa. So for the mechanics of the game, we will be presenting 4 pictures on your screen which is related to the webinar talk. So the participants must guess what word the pictures describe by writing their answer to the chat box. Third, the first participant to send the correct answer after the MC's go signal wins. And fourth, the winner will receive a GCash prize. Fifth, the winner shall message Miss Mary, Charlene Tomas on Facebook Messenger to claim their prize. So since vibe muna tayo, if ever ready ang ating participants, magpaulan ng mga heart reacts or type Z to start our icebreaker. Okay na? Ready na ba lahat? I think getting to senses? Oh, G. Okay. I think, okay na? Sige. Gosh, ano to? Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Wait, social media platform. May nagsagot agad, ang bilis. George William, tama ba yung sagot? Social media platform talaga. Let's see. Social media platform, algorithm, social media platform. Sige. Charlene, ano yung sagot? I don't know if tama yung sagot ko, pero sensing something. So, sa social media platform ba yung sagot? A social media algorithm. May nakakuha ba? Wala. Oh my God. Oh, meron! Si George. Si George ba? Yeah. Kindly message po Miss Mary, Charlene, Tomas for the information on the GCash prize, di ba? Nag-attend ka na, mayroon pang GCash. Nice one. So, okay, before that, again, congratulations to our winner. And I know it's time for us naman to listen on your questions brimming around with your curiosity because it is now time for the open forum. So everyone can share their messages and questions with our resource speaker. So you may click the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called, or however, you may just also send your questions through the Google link form na kanina ni pop up ng ating staff. Also, for our YouTube streamers, you may comment in the section and we will be reading your insights or comments instead. So before we start our open forum, may we also call our first actor for this webinar. May we have Dame Sunday Marie Ariano. Nandiyan po ba si Dame for the first actor? If ever nandiyan si Dame. Okay. Feeling ko wala pa ata. May technical problem. Okay. Next reactor po tayo. May we have Mr. Ray Samudio II? Or reactors? For Mr. Ray Samudio II. I think they are quite experiencing technical problems. So we bounce off na lang po muna on our open forum, on our questions. Okay, so babalikan natin si Dame. Since nagkaroon ng technical problems, I hope our participants are really bouncing off to the insights and questions. And I really appreciate what Ma'am Kat said when it comes to social media at the same time algorithms, lalo na ngayong generation. It's really prominent at the same time. We have to catch up on the things, especially on the issues. So for our reactor, may we have Miss Mary Charlene Tomas for this webinar.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and also good afternoon to our beloved speaker, Miss Kat. I would like to first thank you for being part of this workshop or webinar. As a business student, this is very important to me that I learn this kind of new things because it is in line with my course and also to my future career. So I also agree with you, ma'am, on your last sentence that stories not sales and process not product, because content creators ngayon, some of them have already somehow contradict on that statement, which is stories not sales, because sometimes their content is not that concrete. Kumbaga, like they only gain it for the viewers, and that is very wrong because when we look at it, it's when we became an influencer also, it also comes with the responsibility of influencing others. That's your main purpose. So for me, like for example, YouTubers such as Yes Theory and such as that Vox and what do you call that, the Big Story, I think they tell stories that are not unlikely to the public so that they can share their stories also. So for me, as I ventured out as a future professional, hopefully on marketing, on sales, just like that, I would be able to apply this workshop or webinar so that I can also share this also to my friends. And overall, I just like to say thank you again, ma'am. And finally, like it also gives me more insights since I am also, ma'am, taking a professional elective which is called e-commerce and internet marketing. So yeah, it's really aligned. So that would be all. Thank you so much, po.
Thank you, Mary. And may I ask Miss Kat again if you would like to respond or like just to have a quick bounce back on the reaction or insight shared by Miss Mary?
Well, thank you for the reaction. The business strategy is a whole different thing also. So I suggest, yes, just go attend the e-commerce. Personal branding is a whole different experience and strategy compared to personal branding. So I hope some were very relevant and you can use it, especially the table that I showed you a while ago. That's a very basic thing that you can use, and then try to navigate how you can use it and see if you think of a certain brand. Actually, the exercise that you can do is try to plot where it applies. So if you think about Jollibee, I don't know why Jollibee is on my mind right now, but if you think about other makeup brands, games, or fashion, try to plot it where you think what type of business objective they are currently doing and see how you can connect it. So that's a practice that I also do as a digital marketer. Thank you.
Get it, Miss Kat. As what you have mentioned nga, it's about the langhap sarap na hindi naman talaga malilimutan ng bawat Pilipino. At the same time, you're emphasized when it comes to the things, when it comes to the social media, lalo na in branding. Next, we have the second reactor again. May we call Dane Marie Ariano. Okay na po ba ang audio ni Miss Dane? Mr. Dane, wait.
Hello po.
Miss
Can you hear
Dane.
me na po? Am I audible?
Yes po.
Good afternoon, everyone, and to our dearest speaker, Miss Kat. I would like to apologize for not being able to open my camera and for what happened earlier. And going back, considering how diverse and accessible social media is in today's status quo, it is considerable that it's a challenge to establish yourself or your personal brand that easily. It's quite a hassle considering that those people who have known and respected reputations are the ones who can enjoy the fullest potential of social algorithms. But the thing is that if we actually learn to understand the basics of building your brand before showing it to the world, it will actually boost your chances of achieving your goal in the end. What I learned in this webinar is that the purpose and goal is much more powerful than fame and reputation when it comes to establishing your brand. When it comes to personal branding, it's really important to learn how to manage your personal brand online. This will be very helpful in the future since it will basically be used to promote yourself, your brand, or your personality that you want the world to see or to define you. This can help you showcase your skills and potential in a specific field. When you're about to start a business, for example, it would generally help you establish your potential, which would eventually lead you to gain trust and support from your target audience and potential customers. Choosing which platform to use for a specific content will significantly help you maximize the potential of social influence. Every platform can be used for a specific purpose, and it's important to understand this so we can create contents accordingly and responsibly. Another algorithms. This can also be the defining factor for your brand's social influence success, but it will never define your brand's overall success in the future. So that's all po. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Aranyo. Is there any respond or like feedback to
Yeah.
that reaction of Miss Aranyo?
There. I appreciate mentioning again that your online presence doesn't define you basically, and a reminder for all the students that you can always take a break from social media and how you want to present yourself there. It just sometimes feel like you have to be on social media, but to be honest, you don't have to. You again, if you go back to the meaning of personal branding, it's how you want to present yourself. You may also choose not to be on your social media and presenting yourself 24/7. You may choose which aspects they can see. It doesn't mean that the other things that you are doing offline are not true or are not aligned with what you're currently doing online, diba? And I just like to add again and reiterate how important it is to be on LinkedIn as of the moment. It's one of the things I always remind my students, and since you guys are students, it's important to promote yourself now there, even and while you are still in college. Even short learnings, kahit lists lang of what you learned about these types of webinars or all of those things, that's what your future employers can see. Okay, so I do recommend searching yourself on Google right now, see what will come up, delete what needs to be deleted, what you think needs to be deleted, and create more of content that aligns with your good reputation, and what you want for your online presence to be. That's all.
Got it, Miss Kat. Align the personal advocacy to the content. At the same time, shouting out to the graduating students, please prepare your LinkedIn. I know it's super helpful po talaga when it comes to the possible work.
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to know. Sorry, with regarding that, my graduating students, because I also teach digital marketing in Thames, and I asked everybody to create their LinkedIn pages and actually connect with each one of them and post at least 3 things about their college life. During the pandemic, they actually started getting offers, job offers. So there, it's very parang the work in LinkedIn is very minimal. Like you can do an update once a month. It's not as extensive as how you want to present yourself on Facebook or Instagram, but being there has its benefits. So the graduating students, I really do recommend for you to be there.
Kat at Miss Kat, Mike, we have questions for from our participants. First po is the insight. As mentioned, artists use social media, Instagram and Twitter mostly to promote their works, advertise their art, and gain clients for commissions. However, one of many problems they face is their work getting stolen or reposted. So true. With the reposter not giving any credit. Some social media sites address this with reports that they can send warnings and get it taken down. But most of the time, the artist can't do anything. What can you say about this situation?
Okay. Currently, what you can do since you guys are still students, make sure that you sign your work online, on an area where they cannot crop. Ba? Crop in a sense na it will still look good kahit a faint signature of yourself there, or even if they cut it, your signature, your branding will still be there. Unfortunately, there, although there are certain, again, like websites or platforms that allow you to make sure your content is not being copied and reproduced. Unfortunately, there is still no one system to combat this, unless in the future you do copyright, trademark, basically bank on intellectual property. So that entails also money. So eventually, if you really do have good work, make sure to have it registered on those things. But as of the moment, I'm taking this from Kenneth Cobonpue, because Kenneth Cobonpue is one of our mentors in Thames International. And it has always been his worry, or at least people are always worrying that China copies his work. Whenever he would publish his own for new furniture, in 1 or 2 weeks, there is already a reproduced version in China. So for him, that's why his personal branding is very important. He makes sure there are certain aspects in his work that cannot be copied or reproduced by China, or at least they don't know whether it's his signature inside his furniture or something, right? So it's also strong presence, and he takes it on a good side that people are actually copying his work. At the end of the day, it's his. So at the end of the day, it's yours, and they can't copy what you are currently doing. So don't let it stop you from creating. Do what you can, ask your friends to report or something, but just continue to produce work and be confident that you'll be in the way recognized for that certain type of art eventually.
Get it, Miss Kat? In connection with the financial matters, there's a question for Facebook pages. If you wish to make it big, when and how much money do you suggest in putting to pump engagements?
On If you check actually Facebook ads, there are a lot of different options to set up an ad. The minimum, the maximum amount, basically any. So how much you can invest, you can put it there. But again, you go back to your target audience. It's not, that's a vanity metric, diba? You get a lot of followers, but even if you get a lot of followers, but if they're not your customers, then it doesn't make any sense. So you can invest a few, like a certain amount for just to promote it, but you really have to try to experiment, test content, to see if it's effective. So the process is usually, what I do is I create a certain content with a certain media. You have your caption, you post it, you can boost it, or you set up an ad. The minimum, I think, is 50 pesos a day. On Instagram, it's 60 pesos for one day, and it will show you the number of possible reach and the number of possible impressions that they can compute. I usually would only run it for 3 days just to see whether it's effective to that target audience that I want. Because when you set up an ad on Facebook, it will ask you a lot of things: the location, the age. That's why it's also very important that I added it on the presentation. You need to know certain locations that you're targeting, the age range, and their interests, whether maybe people who are in a relationship, or people who are working, people who are working only in Metro Manila, or who are only working in Cebu, or in, and so there are a lot of things that you can change. And then once the ad finishes, you review if there is an increase in your followers, and if there is an increase in your engagement, if that engagement is actually, again, relevant to you or not. And then you re-strategize again. You go back to how did it work? Why did it work? Is it the photo? Is it the caption? If it didn't work, then what should you change? So it's very hard to put an amount on it. Again, what I think, at the end of the day, you try to build an organic community. So you do that by creating content that is relevant to them, engaging content that is relevant to them, and then eventually it can grow organically without actually doing ads. Nina of Colorette that's what they did. They what they speak on social media are all about their values, inclusivity, and they match it with their photos, videos. They match it on what you see on their website, on their products. So she was able to grow the brand and her personal brand, talking about those same things organically. So that's what you aim for as much as possible, that you do not put a lot of money in putting up ads, but they're not basically your target audience.
Ayan. Got it, Miss Kat. I think our participants will really appreciate it. What I got is that it is really an A+ when you really know the target market, specifically, or your audience, and how they interact. Like, may imagine mo sila in a person in a way na para mas makilala yung brand mo, at the same time yung advocacy mo din and how to click it. Our last two questions po, this is quite interesting, Ms. Kat, kasi may bago siyang term na nilapag. So here's a question. What are the best strategies to optimize your content to cater to as many people as possible? I have heard of A/B conditioning for getting people to click. Are there any more?
Sorry. Okay, I think before we go into the different strategies, I think I'd like to stop first on getting your content to a lot of people. There is, if you have a certain client already who wants that, or if you are a business person that is your parang business objective, I'd like to help you by saying it's not really reaching a lot of people. Okay, you need engaged people who are your target audiences. So even though, again, putting money into the social media accounts, it can give, if you have millions like the Marcoses to invest in your accounts to spread something, that's basically the end of what you can do, the capabilities of social media platforms, diba? If you're talking about reaching a lot of people, then do invest the same amount as how much the Marcos has invested on it, right? But again, you go back to your own business objectives or personal objectives. Whether what are the strategies that can target the specific target audience that are relevant to your brand or to your business. Okay, so to be honest, it doesn't mean that you really have to pay going back to my example a while ago, and even in my personal experience with a lot of small to medium enterprises, most of them don't actually now invest on social media because of the algorithms going on. So they try to strategize how they can still engage their current audience. You go back to the business objectives I showed a while ago. How do you go back to the customers that are already engaged or following you? Diba? So there are certain people who follows you but don't engage or don't buy your product. So why not? What's happening? So you ask that, you strategize for that. For people who are already buying um your products, what other things that you can do to make sure they continue buying, right? On social media strategies, unfortunately, it's really on the A/B testing, positioning that is very relevant as of now, only because it is what's available also on Facebook. The other testings for reach would just really be changing your location, changing the interests, and testing all of those things and running the ads all at the same time. But there is beauty in the A/B conditioning, A/B testing on social media, because again, you try to see which audience can be more engaged with you. A quick example is, let's go with Thames International or with schools. So during the pandemic, we're trying to let's say get more students, right? So in trying to get more students, we have been targeting the A/B test would be your target A, your target audience A would be students, your target audience B would be your parents, because they're the ones who have the power to pay. What we realized is in your generation, the most engaged audience we're getting are from the students. So you actually now have the power to tell your parents what you want, compared to the previous experience of the older generations where the parents would ask or would get more information about a school or a certain course. Now they don't. So that's A/B testing in a sense, but that's on audience, right? So you can do other A/B testings on age, on location, on certain interests. Sorry, that's all I know as of the moment.
Kat at Miss Kat. Question po, nakalagay po dito is, I've tried FB ads po to try dropping shipping nationwide. However po, di ko po na-achieve desired results ko. Napakadami po kasi ng impressions, page views, and na-redirect ng customers sa landing page pero wala pong na-check out. Based po sa mga napanood kong tutorial, dahil daw po yun sa iOS 14. I'd like to ask po how the iOS 14 affected FB algorithm and how I should deal with it po. Thank you, Ms. Kat.
To be honest, I'm not sure about iOS 14 and its effects, but for you to prove that, you have to have other analytics in place. Like, do you have website analytics that showed your audience are using iOS 14? There, you double check that first, because there could still be a lot of factors why they dropped and not pushed through with the ordering. So could be the time that they saw the post. They could have been interested, but maybe they were in bed and they're going to sleep. All of those things. They could also be try to retarget again the same audience and see if it can convert to sales. What other ads are ongoing that has the same messaging as what you currently have. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not particular and I'm not sure how iOS 14 would drop your potential clients, but for you to be sure, again, make sure you have different analytics in place, because you can't blame the iOS 14 eventually in making sure that basically the reason why. Kasi parang kung yon, then I mean, if it's that the case, then you have to re-strategize basically how you're going to reach them, and not through Facebook ads.
Got it, Miss Kath. And I would like to also extend our appreciation to everyone who participated in our open forum. As much as we wanted to cater your questions, we have limited time lang po to prepare, to entertain that. But bouncing back to the webinar, I really appreciate Ms. Kat when it comes to explaining the complexity when it comes to social media and algorithms. I know it quite be hard, especially in our generations, that most of the time we are just eyeing and focusing on social media and not knowing how the algorithms work and how videos that we posted can affect not just thousands but millions of people. And to show our gratitude to our resource speaker for accepting our invitation, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation. Again, thank you, Ms. Kat, for the talk that we have this afternoon. So again, the Office of the Student Affairs, Ateneo de Naga University, presented this certificate of appreciation to, in grateful recognition of her expertise and service as resource speaker in the alternative class program, The Social Influence, Understanding Algorithms, Its Pros and Cons, held on May 16, 2022. Given the 16th of May 2022 at the Ateneo de Naga University, City of Naga, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Rodolfo S.B. Vertus Jr., Director of the Student Affairs, Janet Badong Badilla, Executive Director of the Missions and Identity, Dr. Alfredo C. Fabay, Vice President for Higher Education, and Father Roberto E. N. Rivera S.J. University President. Again, we would like to extend our appreciation to Ms. Catherine Angel Mallillin. Thank you, Ms. Kat.
Thank you also for this opportunity, and I hope you guys learned, at least sparked learning, and do your own research also on how it can evolve eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kat. And also, this will never be possible without your presence and your expertise. And to our participants, may I remind you to accomplish the evaluation form to receive your certificate. We will be flashing the screen here and sending it to the chat box for your convenience. Again, we are really grateful for your participation, and we hope to see you all in the future ACP webinars and workshops. Again, my name is Maria Belfay Marano, and I am honored to be your host for this webinar. And this ends the talk for the social influence, understanding algorithms, and creating your own brand on social media. Pero bago tayo mag-end, let's have a photo op with Ms. Catherine Mallillin po. Kindly open your cameras if your internet permits you.
Okay. Open po lahat ng camera. Okay na? Hindi pa. Okay. Okay, konti na lang yung hindi nag-open. Okay na ata yan. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. Isa pa. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next page. Ay, wala na pala. Hindi na. Okay. Ito na lang. Isa pa. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Katrina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kat, and thank you to our dear participants.
Thank you, Ma'am Kat.
Recording stopped.
Salamat po.